Sorry, I'm going to start recording. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lori Collette. I'm a colleague of Sharon's in the School of Graduate Studies, and I'm very happy to be here and thanking everybody for joining us.
So today we're going to provide you with kind of an overview of our programs, and then we're going to stop and have time for questions. And then we will continue with a review of the actual step-by-step application process. So for those who are looking to apply, to kind of go through and navigate our pages. And then we will have additional questions at the end.
If you have any questions, please feel free to also type them in the Q&A section, and we'll be happy to take them to you.
So as Sharon just said, we will have a couple of spots for questions, and I'll do my best to kind of monitor those questions as they come into the chat, but we will have a couple of pauses for that. So the School of Graduate Studies at Trent, we are kind of a small school, but we have a big reputation for leading edge research and scholarship. Currently, we have 700 active graduate students studying here. And this past September, we had 250 new graduate students start in one of our many programs. So we have Masters of Arts, we have Masters of Science, several professional course-based master's programs. We have Doctors of Philosophy, and we have some graduate diplomas that we offer as well. So we have a map here kind of showing where our international graduate students come from. We have 132 international graduate students currently studying, representing 31 different countries from around the world. And here at Trent, we really value the diversity that this brings to our classroom, and not just kind of what the international students are gaining from traveling to a new country and studying in a new culture alongside the domestic students, but also like what the domestic students can learn from all these cultures being in the same classroom, and their different perspectives that they can share as they learn together. So that's something that's really important at Trent. And here in Peterborough, Peterborough is a nice sized town. The Simons campus, our main campus, is located in a picturesque natural environment just outside of the city. It's part of the city, but it's not like right in the downtown core. It's a vibrant little city situated on the banks of the Otonabee River. And the campus is located about 90 minutes from downtown Toronto. I'm sure many of you have heard about Toronto, but it's quite a large city. It's the largest city in Canada. Well, I'm not sure of the exact population, but it's definitely over 1 million people. In Peterborough, we boast a rich arts and culture scene. We have plenty of opportunities to get out and enjoy nature. There's parks in the surrounding area. There's parks right in the city. So it's nice to have that connection to nature too while you're studying. The population of Peterborough, it's about 140,000 people. And it's known to be kind of a friendly city. There's families that live here, there's industry, there's schools. We also have a college here in the city, so there's lots of people here studying. So it's a nice size city. And then our other campus, the Trent Durham Greater Toronto Area campus, it kind of builds on the tradition of a robust academics in a personalized setting. It's been open for 10 years. It opened in 2010, and it provides students with a learning opportunity in an engaged urban community. So it's closer to Toronto. It's located in the city of Oshawa, just 40 minutes from downtown Toronto. And this campus is home to the Master of Management graduate program. So it's our only graduate program located at the GTA Trent Durham campus.
So as Lori mentioned, we have a number of different graduate programs that you can apply to. Our graduate master's programs with a research base, we have 13. So these programs are usually 1 to 2 years in length, either a Master of Arts or Masters of Science. We do have the new Masters of Science in Nursing in Professional Practice Leadership, which was launched last May with their first cohort, and we'll be accepting applications again for May of this year. Many of our research programs have several streams. For example, the English Public Text MA, you can choose from a thesis stream, a course-based stream with major research paper, a research creation stream, or an internship. Another one that we find is popular is the Masters of Educational Studies, and it has the thesis-based or major research paper-based, but it also has strictly a course-based program, which takes a little over a year. There is funding available for the eligible students in the master's research-based programs, with a few exceptions. The minimum funding is approximately $15,000 per year. It does include a graduate teaching assistantship. And one thing to note about our funding, you're automatically considered for the funding when we receive your application and it's reviewed. So you do not have to apply for these particular amount, or this particular type of funding, I should say. And you are also considered for some entrance scholarships. And the entrance scholarships are merit-based and are offered to the most highly qualified applicants. We have a number of PhD programs as well at the School of Graduate Studies. Several have been here for a long time, like the Environmental and Life Sciences and the Indigenous Studies program. Our newest program is the Interdisciplinary Social Research PhD. This is attractive to those who perhaps have a background in humanities, such as education or one of the caring professions, management or business. And it draws on the strength of our interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary approach to education here at Trent. And our faculty from several different backgrounds work in this program to look at complicated social issues. So its first cohort is starting in January of this year, and it will be accepting applications for May and September for the coming year. PhD students also have guaranteed funding for eligible students. The minimum funding is $20,000 per year, and again includes a graduate teaching assistantship, which again you don't have to apply for. You are considered when we receive your application. Along with the entrance scholarships, there are a limited number of international scholarships available for both our PhD students and our master's students in the research-based programs. These are merit-based and they do go to the most highly qualified applicants. We have a number of professional programs as well available in at our master's level. These programs are very popular with a lot of our international applicants. Most of these programs take 12 to 16 months to complete. And several of them do have a placement opportunity as part of your education. So ones like the bioenvironmental monitoring and assessment, forensic science, instrumental chemical analysis, and the Masters of Management all have a placement as part of your education here. The one thing to note about our professional programs is they are not funded. We have as well a few graduate diplomas available. These are typically 8 months in length. Education, community leadership, and mental health and addictions nursing are part-time programs. So they're not usually something that is attractive to the international students because there is difficulty with the study permits for those, but the other two are available. And I'd like to just mention, we do have a couple areas of study that you can apply for a collaborative specialization in. If you are accepted to one of our research-based programs and you really would like to focus your research on aging or feminist and gender studies, there is an opportunity to do that if you're working with a faculty that studies those areas, and that can be added onto your degree once you are accepted into the program.
So one of our more popular professional programs has 3 streams to it. And now this is the Applied Modeling and Quantitative Methods program. It has a thesis-based, which takes 2 years to complete, where you can earn an MA or an MC in the theory of modeling and the application of techniques in the natural sciences or social sciences. And the really popular ones that we find amongst our international students are the 2 course-based options in big data analytics and financial analytics. These are both 16-month courses, and they each have a slightly different focus in them. You can see they're described their emphasis in practical skills and visualization, data mining, cloud-based approaches, and parallel programming skills for big data. And financial analytics is mathematical, portfolio risk management, numerical methods, and that sort of thing. These are very, very competitive programs. You will see on our website that our deadline to apply is February the 1st, but we do recommend that students apply to these programs as quickly as possible, so that the program has time to review them. And the intakes for this one is September of each year. So the next intake is 2021. So yes, this is a very popular program, and we recommend applying as soon as possible. One of our most popular research-based programs is the Environmental and Life Sciences, both a Master's of Science and a PhD stream. As Sharon did mention several slides ago, this is one of our oldest programs here, oldest interdisciplinary environmental graduate program in the country. It started in the early 70s. This is one of the programs where you do require a supervisor, and we highly recommend that that is detailed on the application when you apply. So this is a master's program which takes 2 years to complete, or if you're doing the PhD stream, it takes 4 years to complete, studying at a full-time status level. And this program does offer intakes in September, in January, as well as May. And the cool thing about this one, some of the subject areas are listed there on the slide, but this one also offers close partnerships with the government and industry experts. So I know we will talk about this a little bit later, but this is one of the programs, as I mentioned, with the supervisor, you're really encouraged to reach out to the faculty listed on the website and make that connection ahead of time to see, like for instance, if you're interested in trace contaminants, you see who is interested in that sort of thing that's associated with that program, and see if there's a good match there to supervise you. So another program, the Master of Management, another very popular course-based program. This is the one that I mentioned earlier is offered at our Trent Durham GTA campus. And this program, it helps you develop a grounding in a broad spectrum of business and management disciplines. It is professional course-based program, and it takes 16 months to complete. The final term, the last 4 months of your studies, is a work integrated learning opportunity. And that usually takes place in the GTA area, and there are like an internship coordinator there at the GTA campus that helps you find a relevant learning opportunity to match what your studies and what you're interested in. And just a little bit about fees for graduate school, in particular for international students. They really vary between the research thesis programs and the professional programs. Currently for this year, 20 to 21, compulsory fees and the tuition fees total approximately $22,500 to $31,000, depending on the program you're in. And those fees can all be found on our website, and they're usually updated each kind of summer, June, July for the next year. So you can find those at the link provided there.
So to apply to the School of Graduate Studies for a master's program, you require the equivalent of a Canadian 4 years bachelor's degree in an appropriate subject matter. Depending what country you're from, if you have completed a 3-year bachelor's degree, you may need to complete a master's degree as well in order to qualify for our master's program. And typically to apply for one of our doctoral programs, you should have a master's degree again in an appropriate discipline. We require a minimum of a B+ or 77% Canadian in the work of the last 2 years or the last 4 semesters. Individual programs may have a higher entrance average and they may have additional admission criteria. And you can find out about the additional admission criteria by looking at the website. So, and as well, whether there is a higher entrance average. English proficiency is a requirement for admission to our programs, and it's necessary to be successful in a program at the graduate level. So I've displayed the test there that we accept. And if you have not completed your education in Canada, so your undergraduate degree in Canada, we do require that you provide proof of English proficiency. There are a few exceptions, and you can see that on our website. And we do require that the testing be completed in the last 2 years before applying for our programs. And just to kind of review the types of things that we will be requiring as part of your application process to the School of Graduate Studies. At the graduate level, as you know, admission is not based only on your GPA. So the programs will also review your background. In the case of thesis, they will review your research proposal and see if you are fit for our School of Graduate Studies here at Trent. All applicants are required to submit all their transcripts of any post-secondary education that they have completed or have not completed. So any post-secondary education that you've attended, we do require a transcript from that. It is unofficial at the application side of things. If you are offered admission, you will be required to submit an official transcript at that time. We do not require your secondary school education to be submitted, so just post-secondary. As I mentioned, all applicants must submit proof of English proficiency, and then depending on which program that you are applying to, there may be additional things as posted there that you may need to submit as well. Applications to the School of Graduate Studies are submitted online through the Ontario University Application Centre. And as Lori mentioned, the application deadline is February 1st for September intake. And the majority of our programs do have just the one intake of September, but there are a few select programs that accept students in the term of May and again in January. Application fees are paid to the Ontario University Application Centre at the time of applying, and you can reach our application portal through our website. We do recommend that international students apply 4 to 6 months before the start of the term that you are hoping to begin your studies in. So
Okay.
Go ahead, Lori.
Sorry, Sharon. So that's kind of the first part of our presentation, kind of an overview on graduate studies at Trent. So we're just going to take a pause here. I see that there's some questions in our Q&A. So I'll read those out and Sharon will answer them, or I can answer some of them as well. So the first question is about English language. So somebody went to school in Pakistan for 4 years and the language of instruction is English. Will my IELTS requirement for English proficiency be waived off? And you're applying for a master's in material science. So go ahead, Sharon.
Yeah. So typically, if you have completed your education in a post-secondary institution at the university level, that where the language of instruction is English, we will consider waiving the English language proficiency requirements. And in order to do that, what we need is either your transcript to clearly state, excuse me, your transcript to clearly state that the language of instruction was English, or we require an official letter from the institution stating that the language of instruction was English.
Thank you. So this question is about entrance scholarships. A little more detail on the entrance scholarships can be found where? So you're wondering whether you're eligible, I think is the question. It's kind of a two-part thing there. So I'll just say a little bit. I think Sharon mentioned early on in our presentation that these are entrance scholarships are merit-based. So it kind of depends on the program that you're applying for. The course-based programs aren't eligible for entrance scholarships, but if, say, for example, you're applying for a master's of science in psychology, they would have a certain amount of money that is allotted for entrance scholarships, and it's merit based. So the higher your application is, your grades and other details of your application, the more chance you are of having given an entrance scholarship, and that is put onto your letter of offer. When you receive that, all your funding would be detailed on there. It's not, we don't have the entrance scholarships laid out on our website because it's very specific to the program and to the applicant and that sort of thing. Sharon, you can probably add a little bit more there.
No, very good, Lori. Yes. So you don't, as we mentioned, you don't apply for the entrance scholarships. If you are a highly qualified applicant and the program is really eager to have you join, they may offer you the entrance scholarship. And as Lori mentioned, if you are offered admission, when you receive your offer letter, it will outline any funding that is available to you automatically. And so you will have that information before you make a decision to come to the School of Graduate Studies here at Trent University.
Okay, and the next question says, which companies come for the placement for big data analytics? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so big data analytics actually does not have a placement. It is 4 terms here at Trent in the course-based program, and it does not, that is not one of the course-based programs that does have a placement. So I'm not able to provide any more information about that. If you're wondering about what type of career you might be able to look into after completing that program, what I would suggest is that you email the program directly with that question, and they can give you some ideas of where that type of education will lead you into in your career. And so the address for that program can be found on our website, but it is, I will tell you as well, it's amod@trentu.ca.
And so if you were, maybe it was when I was mentioning the Master of Management program, that is the program where the final term of the 4 terms does have a placement. And the same with that program. You can email them and they can give you some ideas of placements that they offer as part of their final term. But it's probably the big data you were looking for. And as Sharon said, that's all kind of in classroom studying. There's no internship as part of that one. So the next question is, for Masters in Material Science, coursework and thesis-based master's programs, will I be eligible for scholarships automatically? Do I have to apply separately for scholarships? If yes, what are the deadlines for spring 2021?
So there will be some funding that you will be eligible for automatically. And so that is the graduate teaching assistantship. And I'm sorry, I think you said you were applying to the Masters of Science. So it's a research fellowship award as well that you would be automatically considered for. You can go to our website and look at our scholarship bursary section, and there are some additional external scholarships that are available. There are limited ones available for the international students, but there's certainly some there and some resources of where you can look outside the university to apply for funding. And you would have to go through each of those specifically to determine the criteria for eligibility, as well as the deadlines for applying.
Thank you, Sharon. Okay, so the next question is, I've applied for AMOD for big data for January intake. Could you please share the schedule, the timings of the subject, when the courses are starting from? So you're asking when your course, you've been accepted already for January 2021, and you're wanting to know when the class will start? I think that's maybe, you said you applied. Sorry, I don't have your name for this one, so.
So if you have applied and been accepted to that program, our term begins January the 1st. And so all our terms begin kind of at the first day of the first month of the term. And then the actual coursework will start January the 11th, but there may be some orientation and other things that you will be involved with your program prior to January 1st. And again, I would suggest that you reach out to the program directly, and they can provide you with information about some online orientation that they'll be providing, the date for that, and what you need to do in order to register and that sort of thing. I don't believe that group of students are able to register yet, but you will be given information in the next week or two of how to register in your courses. So that will come to you by email.
Mhm. And this perhaps is from the same student. Also, what packages per annum they offer? I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. Sharon, do you have an idea what
I'm
packages?
not sure what you're asking either. I'm
Um,
sorry.
I wonder if it's funding packages.
Okay, so with the course-based programs, we do not have funding available for those particular programs. It's only available for the research-based programs, with the exception of most of the research-based programs it's available for, not for education or nursing.
hmm. And then this is just to confirm, if I'm not wrong, then you said that there's no scholarship for professional programs.
That's correct.
Mhm. Are there any scholarships and financial aid programs available for big data? So no, this is a course-based program and it's just for the research ones. Can I submit my IELTS after February 2021? I can't get a date to sit for the exams until February 24th.
Certainly, we don't close our application document portal on February 1st. We continue to accept things. What I would suggest is when you upload all your documents that you include a note with English proficiency to say, I have my testing scheduled for February 24th, and I will follow up with my results after that date. And then we know that you are working on getting that to us. And so our application portal will still, our document portal, I should say, will still accept your IELTS results after the February 1st deadline.
And the final part to that question too, I just noticed is they had indicated that their language of instruction was English. So as Sharon indicated earlier, the IELTS test might not be necessary if you have documentation from your university, your previous university, that your medium of instruction was all in English, or at least 2 years of it. If it indicates on your transcript, or if you can get an official letter from your school, we would also accept that, depending on when you completed that education. If it was in the last few years, then that would also apply. I want to do sustainability studies MA, but I have 3 years bachelor degree. So what are my chances of being selected?
So it depends what country that you completed your education in. Countries such as India, you do require a master's degree as well. So at this point, if you completed a 3-year bachelor's degree in India, you would be considered ineligible, and we would suggest that you upgrade by taking a master's degree and then applying to our Masters of Sustainability. In some countries such as the United Kingdom, their system is a little bit different. So a 3-year degree in that country is equivalent to our bachelor's degree. And so if you're studied in the United Kingdom, then you are eligible to apply to one of our master's programs.
So I was wondering more about the merit criteria. For example, more than 80% gets about $1,000 per year or something like that. So you're looking for an estimate for the entrance scholarships, perhaps, I think you're asking?
Yes, so at the graduate level, it's very individual. And as we mentioned at the beginning, it's not just your graduate or your GPA that is what is looked at as far as your admission to the School of Graduate Studies. And although the entrance scholarships are decided by the program, so I can't really speak for them, I'm going to guess that they also look at whether or not your background is strong in the area that you're hoping to study, and whether you have some research in that area maybe already, and things like that. So they look at the whole application package along with your GPA, and the programs make that decision. So it's not, I believe at the undergraduate side, often a certain scholarship is offered based on your GPA being a certain level. And if your GPA is a different level, then you get a different scholarship. And it is not the same at the grad level. It's very individual. which is the strength of our programs. Everybody is looked at as an individual, so it's a little bit different. So I think at this time, we are going to continue with our presentation, and then we will come back to further questions at the end.
I did forget to mention there on that slide, we were just featuring a couple of our really recently graduated student and a current student as well, from a couple of our different graduate programs. So, okay, Sharon.
Sure. So I'm briefly going to walk you through how you would actually apply to the School of Graduate Studies. And as I mentioned, you go to our website, and the first thing you want to do is look at our how to apply, or click on our how to apply section, and this will take you to a page that kind of gives you a step-by-step process of what you need to do to apply. So the first thing we're asking you to do is to review the specific program requirements. And so you would need to go to the program pages to do that. And when you go to the program pages, you will see that the programs are laid out based on whether it's a research-based master's or course-based master's or graduate diploma. And then once you click into that page, you'll be able to choose which program you're actually interested in. So I think our slide presentation goes to the Applied Modeling and Quantitative Methods program, and it will show you on the page things like any additional criteria that are higher entrance requirements that the program is requesting. It will tell you maybe what background that you require. So if there's specific program of study that you require in your undergrad, it will be listed there as well. And it will tell you if there's additional criteria such as an interview. So our Masters of Forensic Science is requiring virtual interviews with those candidates that they are actually considering accepting this year. So things like that you'll find on the program page. As well, you'll see whether or not transcripts and what additional things besides the transcripts, I should say, are required to be submitted as part of your package. And the other important thing that you will find on this page is whether or not in the research-based programs, you require a supervisor. So we'll tell you if a supervisor is mandatory or recommended. And so at this time, I am going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to let Lori share hers. And Lori's just going to show you how to go to our website, where you would actually look so that you can research the actual faculty of any particular program that you're interested in applying to.
Okay, so hopefully everybody can see my screen now, and I'm just on the main page of the School of Graduate Studies. So I'm just going to pretend that I'm interested in a Master's of Science in Environmental Life Science. So I'm going to click along the top here on Programs, and then I'm going to go to choose Thesis-Based Master's Programs. And then I'm going to scroll down, and here's the program I want, the Master of Science, Environmental Life Science. And this is the page where Sharon just was a couple of slides back that kind of details everything. The admission requirements are here, general overview at the top, a couple quick paragraphs, introduction. But you look for this orange link to the website, and then that takes you through to the program website. And then this is very similar to most of the research-based programs. It might look slightly different, but most of them will look very similar to this. So the faculty you'll find along this green bar. So we're going to click on faculty, and then we're going to click on faculty again. For this program, you'll see that there was adjuncts there as well. And I believe like faculty is the one you should be looking at. Adjuncts are faculty who can supervise you, but I believe that they have to have a co-supervisor. So you could, some offers we send out to people, they might have 2 supervisors. So the faculty, there's quite a long list here. This is, as I said, one of our bigger programs that has more faculty than a lot of the other ones. But so you would scroll through here and you would read Chris. Okay, so here is his Professor Fergal's interests are these. And you see anything in there that is along the lines of what you're interested in studying, what you've already studied, what you're including in your plan of studies. So you would send an email to Professor Fergal, reach out to them and tell them what you're interested in studying. You're applying for this program, you're looking for a researcher, or you're looking for a supervisor, and see if that's something they might be interested in doing. If, sometimes, well, this professor I've chosen, I know he in the past has had a lot of students. He takes on a lot of students. So sometimes they just might be kind of at full capacity. Sometimes their research area just might not be a perfect fit for what you're interested in. But anyway, the list is here, and you go through that and you reach out to the professors that you're interested in and kind of make that first connection. So you can include them after you've had a conversation with them. You can include them on your application that yes, you've talked to them and you know there is a spot on the application you get that asks for who your supervisor would be. So that's very helpful when they're deciding if they've already been in conversation with you and you know they're interested. So, okay, I think I'm going to stop sharing now, Sharon, and take it back over to you.
Okay. Okay, so now if you're ready to start your application, you can scroll down that how to apply page and come to the start the application now button. And that's going to take you right to the Ontario University Application Center page. You do need to create an account we suggest to give yourself about an hour to complete the online application. It will ask you questions about your professional background, your educational background, about your referees, that sort of thing. If you do need to leave in the middle of your application, you can save it and come back and finish it at a later time. The first thing it's going to ask you is to declare your status in Canada at the time of applying. And then once you do that, it's going to take you to a program listing page so that you can choose which programs you're interested or which program you're interested in applying for. And it will tell you if there's anything that the applications are already closed for. When you apply, you are allowed to apply to 2 programs at once. You do have to pay for each program you wish to apply for. So once you've completed that application, what happens next is the application center processes it and processes your payment. And then they send the application to us. So it's important to note that there is a delay between the time that you send your application to the UAC Center and receive an acknowledgement email from them and the time that your application actually comes to the School of Graduate Studies. It can be a 5 to 7 day delay before we actually receive it. Until we actually receive it from the application center, there's nothing that we can do with your application. So we're not able to review anything. You're not able to submit any further documents. You do have to wait until you receive an acknowledgement email from Trent University that includes your Trent student ID, and then you're able to go in and claim your Trent account. Once you claim your Trent account, that is going to take you to a portal, and that's where you're able to upload the required documents. So I'll just show you kind of what the portal looks like. So this is the portal. When you log in, you'll see an icon to upload graduate application documents. And then when you go into that page, you'll see some instructions of exactly what we're looking for. We do ask you to get all your documents together first and to upload them all at once so that we have a complete package that we can give to the program to consider. So rather than giving bits and pieces, we do ask you to try to upload everything all in one sitting if possible. And then you'll see that there's many different files or many different links so you can upload each of your transcripts from the post-secondary institutions you've attended, and then any of the other appropriate documents that are required for the program you're applying for. A note about transcripts. As I said, we don't require your secondary school transcripts. With the post-secondary institutions, we ask that you submit a grading scale along with your transcript. Sometimes it's on the back side of the page of your transcript. So if you can submit it completely, and be sure to submit all pages of your transcript, not just the 2 years that we need to consider to see if you're eligible. We do require all pages and all education that you have completed. Once you have submitted all your documents, you can go to a checklist, again on your portal, required documents checklist, and it will let you know when we have processed the documents you have submitted, and if there is anything outstanding. So if we're still waiting to receive anything. During peak times, it may take us 5 to 10 business days between the time that you upload your documents until we actually have them processed and into our system for you to see it's been updated. So we do ask for your patience during the peak admission times. Also on this same portal, you'll see that you can submit, if you are working with an agent, we are asking you to submit an agent authorization form. And so you would do that by logging into that icon of your portal and completing the information for the agent or agency that you are working with. And if you are perhaps not working with an agent, but maybe you have a relative or friend living here in Canada who you would like to be able to call us during business hours, maybe they're in our time zone, that is okay, but we need to know that it's okay with you to talk to them. So there's also a release of information form that you can complete if you'd like someone else to be able to contact us on your behalf and talk to you, or talk about you, sorry. And the final form icon I was going to show you on this page is the graduate reference self-service form. So when you apply in your UAC form, if referees are required, you will provide all your referee information, including their email address. Once it's processed here at Trent University, your referees will receive a link to a secure portal where they will upload your referee or reference directly to us. Sometimes you may find after you've applied that your referee is no longer available or there was a mistake in the email address. If that is the case, then you can come in here to your portal and correct the information or add your new referee in there to be used, and then they will receive the secure link. So that's how you would go about doing that.
So I'm just going to do a really quick overview on what Sharon has just talked about, a little summary. So the first step in the application process was to go to the website and review the program requirement. So making sure that you meet the minimum requirements and that you have all of your admission documents together, or the required documents, I should say, and just getting reviewing, making sure that you do meet. Then you work on preparing your application. So that's where you would submit the name of your references and you submit all the information that the UAC application asks for. After this, you will get your email and claim your MyTrent student number. As Sharon said, that can take up to 5 days depending on when you submit your application, as we only do our downloads from the Ontario University Application Centre a couple of times a week. And when those come in, that's when you will get your number and your next steps for applying. That email will give you all your next steps about how to upload your required documents onto the MyTrent portal. Then the release of information, either for a friend or for an agent, is found on the MyTran portal, and you would complete those if need be. And then after that, you can just, applications will be reviewed after that from the program. Once they're complete. So you would also see on your MyTrent status that once everything is into our system and we have received everything, it will say pending decision. And this is telling the program that everything is in and the program is now reviewing your application. And they review them as they become complete, and they make their decisions as quickly as possible. But once you see the pending decision on your portal, there's not much else that you can do at that point except for wait for the program to meet with their committees and decide about their applicants for that year. And then they'll be in touch with you by email. Um, so admission decisions, as I just said, they're made by the individual programs and it can vary. Like for example, the applied modeling program, as I mentioned early on, is a very, very popular program. So they have a lot of applications to go through. So they might take a little bit longer than say a PhD in Indigenous studies because they receive a much smaller number of applications than some of our more popular course-based programs. So you will receive an email communicating the admission decision either from our office or from the program directly. And all admission decisions are final. There are no appeals accepted for that. As I did mention earlier too, you are encouraged to apply early just to allow the programs to start making their decisions early, especially for the more popular ones. So if you do receive an offer, normally you're required to make a decision on that offer to accept it or decline it within 4 weeks of the date on the offer letter. And then some of our programs also require a deposit to be made at the time of acceptance.
And I guess just to echo what Lori said there, some of the programs, because the decisions are made at the program level, it is very different than when you're applying to undergrad and you generally apply and hear back in 4 weeks or something like that. Our programs, some use committees that meet on specific dates. Some will not look at any applications until February 1st, and all the applications are in. But some will start to look at them early. So that's why we encourage you to apply early. Some will send out early acceptances. I know forensic science, for instance, is sending out early acceptances this year. And the other thing to keep in mind is these are small programs. We are a small school. And so these are small programs with limited enrollment. And sometimes that's why it takes so long to hear an answer back. The programs are looking for the strongest and best candidates that are a good fit with their programs as well. So it does take a considerable length of time before maybe you are giving a decision on your admission. And so at this time, I just want to thank you again for listening to us today and considering Trent. We think Trent is a great place to work and a great place to study. Part of it is because we are small, so that is one of the things, and you really get to know our faculty and get to know your peers in your programs. And so I just wanted to provide you again with our contact information here so that you can contact us if you have additional questions. And on our website, there's also a frequently asked questions section you can go to. And check some of those that may have the answers to those questions you're asking. We do again ask for some patience during peak times. We will try to respond to your emails as quickly as possible, but sometimes we are a little bit longer than we hope to be in answering your questions. And at this time, I think we're hoping to take any additional questions that you might still have.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of continue where we left off. Thank you for your patience. I know some of those questions have been sitting there for a little bit. So continuing on the questions regarding the big data course-based professional program, can I get a teaching assistantship? Unfortunately, our GTA opportunities are for research-based programs, and this is one of our professional course-based programs, and it does not offer a TA with that program.
So the graduate teaching assistantships are, those ones are offered through our actual office. Now, when you come to the school, if your study permit does allow you to work as one of the conditions, you are able to look to see if there are any postings to the general university population for things such as teaching assistantships or markers or that sort of thing. So you can look at our website and see if there are any opportunities open for you to apply to directly, but you are not given a graduate teaching assistantship as part of your admission.
The next question, for applying to Masters of Science in Financial Analytics, do we need any technical knowledge, i.e. computer programming? My background is bachelor's in commerce and banking and finance specialization. And you did an MBA in finance as well.
So again, I think probably you would be best to direct that program or that question to the program directly. And they can give you a little bit more about what they're looking for in the applicants to that program.
I have a 3-year undergraduate degree equivalent to a 4-year bachelor's degree. Do I need any additional courses to take?
And so when you say it's equivalent to a 4-year bachelor's degree, I'm not sure what criteria you're using to say that it's equivalent. We would have to assess your application when it arrives in the office to determine whether it is equivalent to a 4-year Canadian bachelor's degree. And if it is not, then you would have to take whatever additional education is required, whether it is to complete another year at the undergrad level, or if it's to complete a master's degree in your country of study. It would depend. So typically, as I said, most 3-year degrees do require at least the master's, with the exception, a few exceptions. And the one that I know of off the top of my head is the United Kingdom.
Is there a co-op program for Masters of Science in Financial Analytics? No, I think we might have already covered this one. We do not have a co-op program with this program. The program that would I think kind of be the most similar is the program offered at Durham, the Masters of Management, and it does have a co-op for the final term. But the 16-month program, Financial Analytics and Big Data, those are all kind of courses in class. I want to do sustainability studies MA, but I have a 3-year bachelor's degree. What are my chances of getting selected? I'm sorry, I think we might have answered that one, or maybe it's very similar to another one. But yeah, Sharon, you had said that it depends on where they're coming from, but for the most part, we do need a 4-year degree. Some schools in India, depending on the program, a 4-year degree is acceptable for certain technical courses, but for a 3-year degree from India, for the most part, you need a master's on top of that. So I'm not sure your country, but yeah, I think a 3-year degree, for the most part, you are going to need the additional year to make it an honors, or perhaps 2 years to turn it into a master's if you are from India. You can provide more information there, or maybe you have further on. I see there's quite a few questions here. Next question. There is a scholarship study in Canada for students from certain countries given by the government of Canada. Will I be eligible for the scholarship if I get accepted? Do you want to talk to that, Sharon? Or
so this is a new scholarship to our office. You would need to receive an acceptance and then apply to the Study of Canada's program. It is a very long process. And so what I would suggest is that you submit your application to our program as soon as possible. And then you would need to follow up with our graduate finance officer to inquire about whether you are able to apply to this scholarship. But there are limited scholarships, I guess. And the process is to apply, become accepted, and then apply to the Study in Canada scholarship.
And a little bit I know about eligibility. The question just disappeared, but I saw that your country, I'm sure your country is one of the ones that that do qualify for it. There's a number of countries that it is meant for students to apply to. So that's kind of the first step. And then you have to apply, be accepted, and then kind of work with our finance officer in your application process. So it is a lengthy process, I believe. And as Sharon said, you should apply as soon as possible and reach out to our finance officer, to indicate an interest in that scholarship. Okay, so the next question, does Master of Management program place a student in its last term? Yes, I believe they do. You can add to that, Sharon. I think I've said that there is an internship coordinator in Durham, a placement coordinator that has like great connections in the community around Oshawa, the GTA, and is able to really assist you in getting your placement for that final term. I'm just reading the next question. Is there funding for a PhD in cultural studies? That is where I'm applying for. Can I get a graduate assistantship?
Yes,
Good.
there is funding, funding that's available. Approximately $20,000 per year is available for the cultural studies PhD applicants. And it does include the graduate teaching assistantship. That is included in that total $20,000 per year funding. And it's per year times 4 years.
Are there any application fees waiver for the May 2021 intake for attendees of this webinar?
Unfortunately,
Oh.
no, we are not able to waive the application fees at all. So the application fee does need to be paid to the University Application Center before the application is forwarded to our office.
Okay, the next question asks, I've done my bachelor's in engineering and master's in finance and banking in India. I have about 9 years of experience with 5 years in finance and banking. I would like to take a break and pursue big data analytics at Trent. I've studied math and stats during my bachelor and master program.
And so I'm not sure if you're wondering what your actual question is there. It does sound, I do not make the admission decisions. It does sound to me from what you've written that your background is suitable for that program. And so you can certainly follow up with that program if you have any additional questions. If you're wondering if the fact that you're not just finished school now comes into play, no, we do accept mature applicants. Many of our students are mature applicants that have maybe been in the working field for a number of years and have decided to upgrade their education to complement their current career.
Mm-hmm. Sorry about that, Sharon. I did notice that there was a couple of questions further that this applicant or the student had asked about eligibility. So that is what they were asking, was to make sure they were eligible for the big data. So thank you. So do I have to get a supervisor before I can be considered for admission? And I believe the student, you were maybe already asking about sustainability studies or perhaps the cultural PhD, but regardless, either one of them, it is highly recommended for all of our research programs. I think that can only help your application if you've already kind of done the research and gone onto our website and reached out to faculty that you're interested in according to what their research interests are. So that I would highly recommend doing that. It helps your application, and you know ahead of time, like if you've put in somebody down on your application form that may not be able to accept you, then it just helps your application a lot. When the admissions committee is reviewing and they know that you've already secured somebody, that's helpful. So the next question would like to know, okay, so we've already answered that one. I received an offer letter in big data. I will start my studies in January. It'd be great if we could get a chance to meet our seniors, especially from our program, so that we can connect together. As the first semester is completely online, I'm not sure whether I will get a chance to make a connection with them. If you could arrange for us to meet our seniors, that would be great. I think this is something would be very program related. I'm not sure if perhaps you could reach out to the email that Sharon provided earlier, and perhaps there's a way that they could do that, but do you have anything to
Yeah,
add?
so certainly I would encourage you to reach out to the program and they can let you know what kind of orientation activities they have planned. The other thing that I would just like to mention is we do have a Trent Graduate Student Association, which is quite an active association. I believe the president actually is an international student. You can find them on social media, and you can reach out to them and ask if if they are planning any forums where new students can meet the current students or anything like that. And they can maybe direct you to some of the chats that they're aware of.
So the Trent Graduate Student Association, that's the TGSA, and they are on social media, so you would find them there. And just to add to that too is Trent International. Hopefully, if you've already been accepted, I think you should have received some emails from international@trentu.ca, and they have ongoing events to welcome people at the start of each new term. So in September and January, they have events going on, and that might be a good avenue to meet people from your program as well. Next question. I have a BS IT degree, typically a 4-year degree, and the equivalency in Canada, according to WES, is a bachelor's degree, which is 3 years. Do I meet the requirements? And you're from the Philippines.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to answer that question off the top of my head. The equivalency is very complicated, and it is time consuming. What I can tell you is the WES, although we do accept WES documents as official documents, we do reevaluate as they come into our office to make sure that they actually meet our requirements. So although WES may say that it's equivalent to a Canadian 4-year degree, it does not necessarily mean it is. So we would have to actually look through your documents, and unfortunately, I'm not able to do that until you have applied. So generally, it is 4 years that we're looking at, and in a few cases, we do accept 3 years, but for the most part, it is 4 years that we're looking for. I'm sorry if that doesn't answer your question directly, but unfortunately, because of the complexity of degrees and grading scales from around the world, it is a time-consuming decision that we make once we assess your application.
Thank you. So this is a question about agents. Which agents can assist with applications?
I will be happy to take that.
Okay, thank you, Jessica.
No problem. So at Trent University, we do work with a number of agents all across the world. If you are interested in working with an agent, let us know which country that you're in, and we will be able to provide you with a list of authorized agents that we're currently working with.
Great. So next question. I'm aware of a process where I can direct my stipend of Masters of Science towards my tuition fees. Do you know, or can you confirm that is true and how this actually works?
I'm not 100% sure what you're asking. So by stipend, if you mean the funding that is offered as part of your Masters of Science, then yes, we would certainly apply that toward your tuition. So I'm not sure if that's exactly what you mean, but typically funding that is provided through our School of Graduate Studies does go towards your tuition. And if there is any funding left over, then you would receive it to use for other things, but it typically goes towards your tuition first.
Mm-hmm. So that money goes onto your student account prior to tuition being due. So it would be there so that it would be applied to your tuition a few days later. So the finance officer always makes sure that any stipends you're getting goes onto your account so they can use that money to pay for your tuition. The next question is IELTS accepted for proof of English language C proficiency. Oh, is GT IELTS accepted?
I'm going to say no, because that is general IELTS. We only accept, as an institution, we only accept the academic IELTS.
Okay, so another question about fee waivers for this webinar. Unfortunately, no, we cannot waive the application fee. Next question, students from Bachelor of Urban Planning get chances to study in Master of Geography. Unfortunately, we don't have something called exactly a Masters of Geography. I think the closest thing we would have would be the ENLS, the Environmental Life Sciences program that I've mentioned. And I don't know exactly what the admission requirements are, but a Bachelor of Urban Planning, it would have to be an honors, and usually, yeah, you would check out their website, I think, to see what the backgrounds are. You feel free to add to what I'm saying here, Sharon.
No, that sounds good, Lori.
Okay.
We have a couple questions, I think, about agents that maybe Jessica could answer there too as well.
Okay. Somebody's looking for a list that lives in South Africa, I think, looking for agent information.
It's the same student.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and then there's a second one about authorized agent.
who to contact to indicate your interest in working with an authorized agent?
So you could always send me an email and I will be happy to provide you with a list of agents based on where you're currently staying or where you're currently living. If you would like to message me on the chat, I can connect with you there.
Okay, I think that is bringing to the end of our questions.
I don't see any more there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just would again like to thank everyone for their participation in today's webinar. I hope it was informative for you. We are certainly glad to see that you are interested in our school. And we would encourage you to contact us by graduate@trentu.ca. It's the email that is checked most regularly, and it is the best one to direct your general questions to. And then if you should speak to one of the programs, we can redirect you to those programs as well. I don't know if you, Lori or Jessica, have anything to add at this time.
I don't think so. Thank you very much, everybody. It was great talking to you, and yeah, have a great day.
Yeah, so thank you again, and we hope to hear from you.